Bonjour David, merci d'être là pour ce stage durant 5 jours ici en France. C'est ta première fois en France?
Yeah, it's my first time ever in France at all. I've never even stepped foot in the country before, so this is really cool. I appreciate you guys bringing me in.
Ok, merci de nous faire cet honneur donc.
Thank you very much. Merci.
Yes. Ok, donc comme je disais, tu t'appelles David Starr. Est-ce que tu peux te présenter en quelques mots pour notre public?
Sure. I'm Product David Starr. I also have a million other nicknames. So I'm also the cream in your coffee. I'm your favorite wrestler's favorite wrestler. I'm the physical embodiment of charisma. I'm the Jewish canon. I'm the 104-minute man. I'm the most entertaining man in professional wrestling. I'm the king of taunts. I'm the product. I think that's all I got. I might have a couple more that I even forgot, my own nicknames. I got a bunch. Unfortunately, a lot of ring announcers, they all have to write them down and read them or memorize them. But that's who I am. I'm a independent professional wrestler. I traveled the world. I've been to Canada, Mexico, obviously American. Been to Australia, Germany, Switzerland, now France, and the UK. So things are going pretty well, man. I'm really excited to be here, and yeah, that's who I am.
Je sais que tu as commencé à t'entraîner au catch à 7 ans avec un membre de la famille proche de The Rock. Et donc ça doit être un privilège pour toi. Est-ce que tu peux nous en parler un petit peu plus?
So, when you're saying I started at 7 years old, that was because I was a pro wrestling fan since I was 5. When I was 5 years old, I fell in love with pro wrestling, and I wanted to be a pro wrestler. And then when I was 7 years old, I got offered to be an amateur wrestler, and I jumped all over it. I was like, yeah, absolutely. And then I went through university and everything. I wrestled all the way through university, and then when that was done, I started training at the Wild Samoan Training Center under Samu on Hawaii, who was head shrinker Samu, who's 3-time WWF Tag Team Champion,
yes.
Also known as Wild Samoan number 3. So, but yeah, it was great. It was really old school training. The Samoans don't mess around. Yeah, They don't mess around, man. Like, you know, I got beat up pretty good. I got beat up pretty well. It's really a big man's school, so I was kind of a smaller guy, so I just had to basically take a bunch of stuff from a bunch of big guys all the time. So I got beat up. I was the fastest graduate in the history of their program, so I was very fortunate to be able to do that, and things kind of picked up quickly, and I think that my amateur wrestling helped me with that. But it was a great experience. I wouldn't have traded it for anything. It helped really nail down my basics and my fundamentals. You know, my foundation as a professional wrestler came from the Samoans.
Sure, ok. Avant d'en arriver là où tu es, c'est-à-dire entre tes 7 ans où tu as commencé à travailler de façon professionnelle en 2012, que ça fonctionne pour toi régulièrement, est-ce que tu as eu des périodes de doute dans ta carrière?
Wow, what a question. I mean, there was definitely times where I was down, you know, and especially when I would set out a goal for myself, like in amateur wrestling, if I would set a goal out and I wouldn't quite get there. Like when I was in university, I went to nationals, and I was a point away from being an All-American. So I didn't place. I didn't become an All-American, and that kind of ate away at me. And then when I was in high school, there was things where I had goals and I didn't quite get there, and I worked so hard to get them, and then for whatever reason, it just wasn't meant to be. And that really brought me down, and I didn't know what to do, and I kind of had to take my time and regroup and regather myself, and it was definitely difficult. And there's been plenty of times in professional wrestling that there's been moments of discouragement, or where you let yourself get down, or maybe you buy into just a lot of the BS that comes from being in pro wrestling. You know, like the drama backstage, or somebody doesn't like somebody or something like that, and that definitely can get you down. But then you have to realize that it doesn't really matter. You know, you just got to go out there and do your thing. You got to push yourself forward and just have a positive mindset at all times. I learned that speaking positively and always just thinking positively, it really pushes you through down times and negative times. So I've been very fortunate to change my mind as far as I used to let that stuff get to me, and now I don't really care. I'm just like, yeah, whatever, man. Like I'm pretty cool, pretty chill, like just down for whatever. And just try and always stay positive and always look on the bright side of life.
Alors, est-ce que tu avais donc prévu un plan B au cas où, ce qu'ils appellent un vrai métier, quoi?
So, the moment I decided to be a pro wrestler, I didn't have a plan B.
Of course.
The moment.
Yeah.
Before that, I was going to university as a math major. I was taking maths, and I wanted to be a math teacher or like a gym teacher or something like that. That's what I wanted to be. I enjoy teaching, so I wanted to do that. But the moment I decided I was going to be a pro wrestler, like the second I did, I remember walking into the Wild Spoon Training Center and getting in the ring, and from that moment on, I was like, nope.
Okay.
This is what I'm doing. But my parents. My parents.
Careful,
Yeah, no, it wasn't quite the same. They were. They didn't even know. I wasn't allowed to start training until I graduated from university, but I did it anyway, and then I ended up dropping out of university. So I didn't finish. School, but because of wrestling just took off, so quickly that I committed myself to it. My parents were not happy about that at all. They wanted me to get a degree and then just get a normal job or something. That's what they wanted me to do. But, I pushed myself through it, and I was fortunate enough, or I am fortunate enough, that pro wrestling pays for my life right now. It pays my bills, and that's pretty cool. I think that's a pretty cool thing.
Tout à l'heure, tu disais quand le succès, quand tu as commencé à devenir catcheur professionnel, si j'ai bien compris, il y a une phrase que j'aime bien, c'est l'échec est inenvisageable, quoi.
I mean, there's plenty of things like I've watched a lot of like motivational speakers or people that have really made it somewhere, whether it's in wrestling or it's in movies or in some way, shape, or form, a scientist, like whatever. Somebody who's made it or accomplished their goal and they're still pushing forward. The thing they always say is that you can't be afraid of failure. You always have to be willing to try. And the only failure is if you don't try at all. And there's a million things that people fail at that they hate. How many people go to school or something and it's not what they want to do, or they get a job that they don't like and then they're just like miserable. And it's like, why would you fail at something you don't want when you could fail at something you love and at least say you gave it a shot? You're always prepared. You're like, okay, well, I'm gonna do this, and then no one can ever say I didn't try, or I can always look myself in the mirror and know that I gave it everything I possibly could, and there's nothing else you can say about it. And the ones that are gonna make it are gonna make it, and the ones who aren't. Pro wrestling, especially, it's, I did a Chris Hero seminar, and one of the things he said was, pro wrestling doesn't owe anybody anything. We all get our ticket, and we get on the ride, and we go up, we go down, we go around, we go all over the place. But at the end of the ride, you get off, and a bunch of other people get on. And you just got to be thankful for the journey you took, and all the memories you made and everything like that. That's all you can do. For me, I am somebody that I don't accept failure. Like, I'm definitely somebody that I push past that, and I don't like the idea of because again, I know the feeling. When I had a goal, when I was in college or university or whatever, I remember not placing at nationals. Like, I remember not being an All-American, and that feeling that I got, like, in the pit of my stomach, and I just felt terrible. And I was like, I'm never letting myself feel this way again. So I always push myself past everything. I never let any stone go unturned. I make sure every single thing that I do is pushing myself for the goal that I want to accomplish.
Ah, ok. Quand tu étais enfant, qu'est-ce qui t'a fait aimer le catch?
WrestleMania 12. I watched WrestleMania 12, and I saw Shawn Michaels come down from the rafters thing, and I wasn't there, but I watched it. And Shawn Michaels and his showmanship, and the pyrotechnics and stuff, and him doing his pose, that was like, whoa. And then Bret Hart walks down, and Bret Hart is like super intense, and he just like, and that match. And again, I was 5 years old, and I paid attention to a 1 hour match. Like, that's what I'm like, okay,
yes.
you know what?
Yes,
That's unbelievable. So that just sucked me in. And I was like, this is the best thing ever. And from that point forward, me and my stepdad, we went to all these wrestling video stores, and we would get old wrestling videotapes, and then I would just watch wrestling. And luckily, I came up during, Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock and Triple H and Kurt Angle and Brock Lesnar and all these like huge superstars that I got to watch on TV, like live. And then obviously WCW and WWF, they were going on at the same time. But also I watched old tapes. So like Flair and Dusty and Magnum TA and Nikita Koloff, and I watched like the Von Erichs, and I watched Nick Bockwinkel and Superstar Billy Graham and Bruno Sammartino, all like the old school guys. Like, I love them. Like, Superstar Billy Graham's my favorite wrestler ever, and he's the best. And I got that from watching those tapes.
Ok, et ce que tu dis, ça me ramène à une question. Est-ce qu'aux États-Unis, le catch a autant d'importance que, par exemple, le football américain ou le baseball?
No, probably not. I mean, just if you compare the amount of people that watch like the Super Bowl versus the amount of people that watch WrestleMania, like it's a different scale. The NFL is probably far and away number one in America, but pro wrestling is definitely on a surge back up in the States ever since the pipe bomb promo, CM Punk on June 27th, 2011. Ever since that happened, which that moment is the moment that re-inspired my love for pro wrestling, because at that time I had kind of become like a casual fan. Like, I'd watch it here and there, but then for whatever reason, I decided to watch Raw that night. My buddy came over and asked if I wanted to watch Raw, and I did. And then that happened the night that CM Punk cut that awesome promo on John Cena. Like, oh, God, the best. And then from that, I was like, oh, I'm all the way back in. So I got deep back into pro wrestling, and I think that happened to a lot of people. And I think in America specifically, professional wrestling at that point started booming again. And now you see it on the independents, because there's not a lot more money on the independents now. People are coming to a lot more shows, and there's a lot more people talking about it. Mm-hmm. Independent wrestling is now featured in like Rolling Stone magazine.
Yes.
And it's like on all these it's on like a lot of, Sports Illustrated covers it, ESPN covers it. So it's like, it's kind of crazy how pro wrestling is coming back, and it's coming back from the grassroots up, So it's definitely not as popular as the NFL. It's not.
Okay.
Or probably not even the NBA or baseball. But it's still a very viable option for people to watch. It's something that people like to watch, and there's plenty of it. I mean, it gets good ratings. Yeah. Unfortunately, there are people that dismiss wrestling right away, because this dumb idea, oh, wrestling's fake. It's like, yeah, well, so is your favorite movie. Guess what? A movie is fake.
Yeah,
a TV show is fake.
Bruce Willis ne sauve pas vraiment le monde.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yes. Like, that's not real. So the idea that you dismiss it because wrestling's fake, which, okay, the only thing that's fake about it is that there's a predetermined outcome, yes. Okay? And I'll tell you this much. If wrestling's fake because there's a predetermined outcome, you know what else is fake? Life. Because it ends the same way for everybody, and I can tell you how it ends. You die. That's it. Yeah. So, I mean, in all seriousness, like, I think that pro wrestling gets it won't. I don't think it'll surpass that. Like, it won't be better. It won't be bigger than baseball. It won't be bigger than basketball. But it'll still be big enough in its own way. During the Attitude Era, maybe it was like there. It might have been like NFL wrestling. Like, that's possible. So maybe that happens again. Maybe it does. It's just hard to imagine wrestling getting ever as big as it was in the Attitude Era. I don't know. But I guess it's possible.
Parce que le public américain dit ça aussi, en fait. Wrestling, it's fake. The people audience says that. Oh, wrestling, it's...
I don't think it's like everybody, but the people that like dismiss wrestling will say that. You know what I mean? And it's like, if you don't get wrestling, like if you don't understand pro wrestling, don't just be mad that you don't get it and hate on it for someone that does. Like, I don't particularly like ballet. All right. If I knew somebody that was like, oh, ballet is so great, I'd be like, yeah, I'm not that into ballet. But I wouldn't sit there and tell them, yeah, Belly's stupid because of this and this and that. Like, no, just let them enjoy it. And if you don't get it, then whatever. Like, I just don't get it. And there's plenty of people that do. But that's not my thing.
Félicitations pour ton match dans cette fédération donc américaine qui s'appelle la CZW contre Riddle. Et donc tu es double champion donc, de deux fédérations américaines connues mondialement, c'est-à-dire la Progress Wrestling et la WXW en Allemagne. Et qu'est-ce que ça fait d'être champion de porter en même temps deux ceintures de fédérations différentes?
I didn't end up winning the Progress Atlas Championship. I pinned Matt Riddle. I pinned him in the middle of the ring. But then there was an incident with a referee earlier in the match, and then that referee came back and overturned the last referee's decision. So unfortunately, even though I held the Progress Atlas Championship right next to my WXW Shotgun Championship, referee Dan Yost took it away from me.
Actually, so you are currently the WXW Shotgun Champion.
Yeah.
Why do you feel to be the first champion of this federation?
So the WXW Shotgun title is it's really cool. It's really cool. I'm really happy to be. I'm the first American ever to hold it. I'm the first person to bring it overseas, and I really I was fortunate enough to be able to showcase it to a bunch of different companies in America and in Canada. So that was really cool. The Shotgun title means a lot because WXW means a lot to me. They were the first European company to really take a chance on me. You know, there was a lot of people that were kind of hesitant for whatever reason, you know, and they said, nope, we're going to do it. And then things have worked out. So I'm really happy to be able to do that. And as far as my match with Matt Riddle, I'm still very proud of that match. It was something that was built up really big. A lot of people had high expectations for that match, and it delivered. You know, it was a big time match, and we came through in a big time situation, and we delivered a great match that can be seen on Progress's network, can be seen on WXW's network, can be seen on CZW's network, can be seen on High Spots. So it just got a lot of really good attention, and yeah, I think that was a really, really good. That was just a great show, and I'm really happy for that match. It was great.
Okay. Si tu te demandes pourquoi, ami spectateur, David regarde par là, c'est parce en fait, je parle anglais comme une vache espagnole. Et donc, il y a Guillaume de la FWE qui traduit pour David. Donc, voilà, c'est un interview à la cool. Donc, voilà, si tu te poses la question pourquoi David regarde là, c'est parce qu'il s'adresse à Guillaume.
De toute façon, des fois, je pense qu'on m'entendra aussi.
Ouais, mais bon, ça va. Tu catches parfois donc, dans la fédération américaine qui est... donc la CZW qui parfois fait des matchs hardcore. Tu as fait des matchs hardcore, me semble-t-il. Enfin, j'en suis pas. Hein. Qu'est-ce que ça fait 5 minutes avant de rentrer sur le ring, alors que tu sais que tu vas taper des bumps du haut d'un échafaudage, que tu vas avoir des micados dans le crâne, que tu vas peut-être avoir des punaises dans le dos, etc., etc. Qu'est-ce qu'on pense 5 minutes avant de rentrer?
I saw this motion.
Ouais.
I mean, you know, it's like one of those things like, I guess you talk about it and then you don't think about it and then it happens. You just kind of get sucked in. You're like, yeah, sure, we'll do this, and then you'll do this. It's really like the days before that. Like it's like leading into it because like that match that you're talking about at CZW was me and Dave Christ, and we knew for a couple months that we were going to lead to that match, like a match that was like a really hardcore match. We knew that. We'd been wrestling for 14 months. So we'd been wrestling each other across 2 different promotions, and the feud kind of carried through for over a year. So we knew there was going to be something. And at that time, we had already had a match, an Iron Man match that went 104 minutes. We had 2 out of 3 falls matches. We had other matches that went like a half hour. And
À tes souhaits. Tiens, on se posait la question comment on dit à tes souhaits en anglais.
Just a stupid question. When you chew in English, I don't know how to say that.
God bless you. Sneeze?
Yes.
Sneeze.
We say à tes souhaits.
À tes souhaits.
You tell in English.
Like bless you or God bless you.
Ah, ok. Voilà pour la culture. Revenons au catch. Alors voilà. Ok.
What do you say in French? À tes souhaits.
À tes souhaits.
À tes souhaits. Cool. No, I know. What do we think? Again, like it's really leading up to that, and you kind of would be like, well, I'm going to do some dumb stuff today. You know, like I know you're going to, and you just kind of, you don't think about it until really afterwards. And then like 2 weeks after that match, I was driving in my car. And I like, my head was scabbed from the skewers.
I'm so stupid.
And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, oh man, this is never going away. And I kind of could like, and it kind of, this one scab felt like really weird. I was like, oh man. So I started like kind of like pushing, and then all of a sudden like pushed it together, and a piece of wood came out. There was still wood stuck in my head.
C'est fou parce que alors les mecs qui s'envoient à travers le barbelé et le verre, quoi, c'est fou quoi. Ils doivent avoir des lendemains difficiles quoi.
Oh man, yeah. I mean, those guys. A lot of my friends have done death matches, or a lot of my friends are death match wrestlers, where they do light tubes or glass or like giant falls and barbed wire tables and fire and cinder blocks. I was in a match with cinder blocks just recently. I had a cinder block on my chest and someone double stomped me. But yeah, it's pretty crazy stuff. I couldn't do that all the time. No way. And so more power to him. Like one of my best friends in the world is Masada. Masada's like one of the best deathmatch wrestlers, one of the best wrestlers, period, like ever. I think he's one of only 2 men to win or American or non-Japanese men to win a Japanese deathmatch tournament, and the other one is Mick Foley. So it's just him and Mick Foley, and that's it. Yeah, so I mean, I couldn't do what he does, like how he does it all the time, you know. And he was the first person ever to give someone the skewers. So it was Masada's thing, was the skewers, and because I'm like his little brother, he gave me the permission to use the skewers.
Pour toi, faire des deathmatch, c'est de la folie ou du courage?
A little of both. You know, because like wrestling's an art, right? So, if you have something that builds to that moment where it feels right and it's just the right thing to do, and then there's a good story behind it, and it's just something that you can put it together, and it's art, and it can be beautiful in that way. You know, it's awesome. And if you just have 2 guys that it just makes sense, you know, and it's so when it gets to that point, I'm all about the artwork, you know, and it's definitely crazy, and I guess you gotta have some kind of courage for it, but that's probably the answer's probably a combination of both, but you gotta be a little stupid too, a little stupid, a little brave, and you know.
Il faut être sado ou pas alors?
Justement, c'est la prochaine question.
Justement, c'est pour ça. Ouais, je sais.
I guess like in a way you have to kind of be into it, you know. CZW breeds that kind of just that feeling, you know, like you're in front of so many death matches, and that crowd is there's a lot of people that are very bloodthirsty in that crowd, where they want to see blood, they want to see violence, they want to see that stuff. But not everybody does it. And CZW sure is, obviously it's known for its death matches and for its hardcore and for its ultra violence, but there's so much good wrestling in CZW, like not just ultra violent, but throughout its history, you know, guys like Trent Acid and guys like B-Boy.
C'est important de le souligner d'ailleurs.
Yeah, and guys like Chris Hero and Jimmy Rave, and like these guys, yeah, they might have done death matches at some point, but they were really just great wrestlers. Look at Best of the Best, like the history of Best of the Best, like Ruckus and all these guys, like they had everybody. Roderick Strong was in Best of the Best. Christopher Daniels was in Best of the Best. Like there is so much good history. A.R. Fox, Sami Callihan, Adam Cole, just more recently like that. Like, there's Tommy End wrestled in CZW a bunch. Jonathan Gresham. Just so many great wrestlers come from CZW, and we're very fortunate to have that, you know. And it's cool to have the balance of both. But that crowd definitely can be a little bloodthirsty, and the environment kind of takes to itself. You know, maybe you're a little more willing to give it, because the crowd's awesome. You know, they're just great, and they love it, and you begin to love it, and you kind of have this relationship with the art form.
Ok. Et tu travailles également, que ce soit aux États-Unis ou en Europe. Donc je pense que c'est différent probablement, que ce soit en backstage ou que ce soit in ring. Est-ce que, si différence il y a, est-ce que tu pourrais nous en parler un petit peu?
What do I prefer? I don't think I could say I prefer one. Everyone's awesome, you know. I love wrestling everywhere. The places that are, if there's fans that are willing to pay money to see me perform, or they're just willing to come out and take their time and watch me do what I do, I always appreciate that. And that goes for whether I'm in England or in Germany or here in France, or if I'm in Switzerland or Canada, whatever, you know. Like,
Japan?
Yeah, like wherever I'm at, it's great to perform there. The differences, I mean, the main difference is that European crowds come up with songs.
Vas-y, j'ai envie de comprendre. Vas-y.
They come up,
En fait, on est moins chaud quand même que les Américains niveau ambiance, quoi.
they come up with songs like whenever I'm in Germany or in the UK, all of a sudden fans start singing.
Ah mais en France, des fois, tu pourrais te tuer.
They're not like all rowdy
Ouais.
and craziness.
It's not like
Oh.
the United States.
Fake.
No, I mean, like it's always good wherever you go, as long as there's passionate people there and there's wrestlers that are there that can that can really bring it, you know, and that's all the fans want to see. The fans pay money or come out, spend their time to come see a good performance, and the wrestlers, it's up to us to give it to them. So wherever you're at, doesn't matter. It's the same business, right? It's all the same. Like they want to come see a great performance, and we have to give it to them. So the difference is, I mean, again, like the European crowds sing a little bit. Like it seems like that. Like there's definitely rowdy crowds in the States, and there's also crowds that are not so hot all the time. But it's the same thing in Europe. Like we wrestled. This past weekend, when I did WXW, it was like two different crowds, two shows. I was in Munich, and in Munich, the crowd was like super rowdy, right? They were just like all into everything the whole time, like making noise. And then the next day in Waldkraiburg, it was like they were just like watching, and they would react and stuff, but they were just real quiet. It was like watching a Japanese wrestling show. You know, those fans are real quiet and they just watch. And then it's like, oh, okay.
Ouais.
You know, so everyone's different, you know, and you have to be able to adapt your crowd, and that takes the talent of a good worker to be able to do it.
En France, c'est comme ça. Après, en Europe, je sais pas, mais peut-être que le public européen vient voir un spectacle, quel qu'il soit, alors qu'une audience américaine vient voir du catch et connaît très bien ses codes, ce qui fait peut-être plus d'ambiance.
There are crowds in America that aren't like super rowdy all the time, and then there's some crowds that are, and there's some crowds that are kind of like in between, and there's some crowds that you have to bring it out of them, and there's some crowds that even if you try your hardest, they're just gonna sit there and be like, whatever. It's just you know, it really depends. It all varies, and obviously you want to see people that they came to a show and they're expecting good wrestling and they're like really excited for it. But there's times, man, like I'll tell you, CZW crowds can be real tough on people sometimes. Like if they come and if they don't have high expectations for the show, sometimes they'll come there and they'll just go there just to say, like, to be like, it sucks, like, yo, you're terrible. Like they'll come there just to heckle, you know, and you got to deal with that, and then you got to bring the best out of them. You got to do your best to make them want to go nuts for something, you know.
Alors, on parlait un peu de ta carrière, par exemple, quand tu as fait des choses peut-être un petit peu plus dangereuses, un peu pour ce qui est hardcore, ou même un match normal finalement. Est-ce que tu as eu déjà peur avant d'entrer sur le ring, et si oui, quelle a été ta plus grosse peur?
When I was really scared. Well, you know, like I just had I had a death match recently, because I've had two of them in my career. I've had two death matches, and one I've taken skewers 3 times, but I've had 2 death matches. The one was against Dave Christ,
Different.
and the other one was against Joey Janela. And beyond for Joey Janela, we did some, you know, like it was kind of scary. Like I was cool with it, but I mean, I still have like a little slice on my head up here from that match. Like I took a DDT on top of a chair and it sliced me open. I was like bleeding like crazy. And then I got stabbed in the head again. We had salt, and we poured salt on me and stuff like that. Yeah, while I was bleeding, they put salt in my wounds.
Douloureux. Painful?
Yeah, it was burned like crazy. And then on top of that, the salt was all on the mat and stuff, so it scratched my back. And then I ended up giving Joey on cinder blocks. I gave him a German suplex onto cinder blocks. So, like, there's some crazy stuff like that. As far as being scared in my career, like, I don't know. You know, the scariest part of that match was holding the cinder block on my chest, and then he double stopped the cinder block. I was like, oh, man, what if I break my ribs right now? Like, what happens? Like, I'm just going to, this is going to be the worst. So, little things like that, but I don't think, like, I've ever been scared more than I'm, like, anxious. You know, like a big match is coming up, I get like excited and I get like anxious, like I want it to happen. I'm just like kind of let's go. Like that match with Matt Riddle that just happened, like the crowd was like super hot for it, and like when my music started playing, like because they announced like, oh, this now is our title versus title match, and everyone's like going nuts. They're like, yes, okay, cool. And then my music started playing, and you could hear the people like just like into it, and I got like super fired up, and I was like screaming and yelling. I was just like fired up, ready to go. So I was just like anxious for it, you know. I don't know about scared though. Like there's been scary moments. Like I really sprained my ankle one time. Like I gave someone jumped off the top rope, and I caught him in a backbreaker, but like I didn't get my thigh all the way underneath, so he landed right here. I understand. And it jammed my ankle. And I couldn't walk for like 3 days. And I was like, oh my God, I broke my ankle. Like, what am I going to do for money? Like, I don't know what I'm going to do with that.
Quand tu dis que ils t'ont mis du sel sur les épaules, etc., tous des moves un peu hardcore, tu fais ça pourquoi? Pour l'argent? Pour l'amour du spectacle? Ou pour juste avoir une expérience forte?
Well, like, you know, the money's good because, you know, when you do that stuff, you get, you know, you have to ask for that, you know, compensation for it. So, you know, you're putting your body more at risk. So you do ask for a little bit more, which that comes with it, you know. But that has to, at the end of the day, that is for the art and for the love of the sport, you know, and for the love of storytelling and the love of art. Like me and Janela had been through this feud for 8 months. And during that feud, he had tried to kill me twice. Like he tried to hit me with a car, and he tried to suffocate me with a plastic bag. So like there was things like, so it got to that point. You know what I mean? There was no other thing we could have done other than going balls to the wall. You know, we had to just go all out and had to just beat the hell out of each other because that's what the story led to. And in a way, you know, that's whose fault is that? I don't know. But then because of that, everyone was so into it. You know, there was so much intensity in that feud that it was, and then when it culminated in that match, it was just awesome. You know, so there's again, like, what is it for? Like money or whatever. At the end of the day, like, yeah, the money's there, whatever. But I think that's really for the love of the sport and the love of the art form.
Ok. Et de tous les matchs que tu as fait, c'est lequel ton préféré?
The Dave Christ match. The no DQ the false count anywhere match with Dave Christ, which is so funny because like it's totally like if you watch all of my matches, like again I've had two matches that are like hardcore matches, other than like I've done a couple ladder matches and stuff like that, but like really hardcore matches like where it's a feud that blows off in like a huge no DQ kind of hardcore match. I've only had 2 of those, and the one is like my favorite one I've ever had. So like, you know, that's definitely my favorite match I've ever had. But I have other like great like wrestling matches that I really appreciate, like where it's just like pure wrestling style. Like when I wrestled Jonathan Gresham at the Best of the Best finals, like that match was I really enjoyed that match. The recent one I had with Matt Riddle was really cool, and that was just like, you know, that was a wrestling match. I wrestled Eddie Edwards at Beyond, and that was like just a really good wrestling match. I wrestled Ethan Page at Evolve, and that was just a really good wrestling match. And I've wrestled Walter from WXW a bunch, and I love wrestling Walter. He's awesome. But those are just wrestling matches, you know. There's nothing to the next level about it. It's just like a really intense, good wrestling match. But my favorite, I'd still have to say, is the Dave Christ match. Or the 104-minute match with Dave, too. You know, we went the distance in the Ironman, and then we went another 44 minutes. So.
À part Shawn Michael, quel adversaire tu rêverais d'affronter?
Oh, dream match. I was just talking about this earlier. It's like that changes every single time that question gets asked to me. Because, like, I love, like, guys like Nakamura and, you know, like John Cena obviously is awesome and AJ Styles and all that. So I don't know, like, I don't know what my dream match would be right now. Like, I would know it when it's booked. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of guys out there that I want to wrestle in singles matches and stuff. There's a lot of them. Like, I'd love to wrestle Ricochet. I'd love to wrestle Will Ospreay. Like, I'd love to wrestle those kind of, like, those guys that are up there. I'd like to get another singles match against Adam Cole because we had one when I was 1 year, like about a year in or something like that, and I'd like to do that again. There's a lot of guys out there that I want to wrestle, but I don't really know if it's a dream match until I'm like, it's booked. I love it. Like, that's what I want, you know? I'd really like to wrestle Nick Gage. So when Nick Gage, you know, because he's afraid of me, so whatever. But no, I'd love to wrestle. There's a lot of guys out there, man. Like, if you named one, I'd probably be like, yep. Let me think of like an absolute dream. I mean, I guess I can consider it really a dream because it's impossible. Would be Ric Flair. You know, that's a real dream.
Okay.
Like, where it's like, that'll never ever happen because he's never wrestling again. I would love to wrestle Ric Flair.
Ok. Je sais que tu vas aller à Orlando là pour le WrestleMania Weekend, qui est donc à peu près de fin mars à début avril. Je sais que par exemple tu as 5 shows en 2 jours. Ok, donc ça c'est la grosse aventure. Et si on te proposait une aventure dans la fédération internationale qui s'appelle donc la VVE, est-ce que ça t'intéresse ou pas du tout?
I'm not going to say I'm not interested. You know, you never know. WWE is a place that it seems, you know, everyone wants the main event WrestleMania. You know, like that's everyone's probably most people's dream or goal or, you know, ultimate thing, main eventing WrestleMania. So that'd be cool, but I'm really happy with where I am right now. There's a lot of places and things I still want to do. If the opportunity presented itself, you know, who knows? I don't know. You know, there's a lot of great places out there. There's places I haven't wrestled that I'd like to wrestle. I've never wrestled. I've been featured on their network, but I haven't wrestled for them yet. Like, I've never wrestled for Progress yet. I haven't wrestled for PWG. You know, I've done Evolve, I've done TNA, I've done CZW, I've done Ring of Honor, I've done Beyond, I've done Rev Pro, I've done Preston City, I've done WXW, I haven't been to Japan yet.
Catch.
Yeah, that'll be on Thursday, officially. Yeah, you know, like I've done a lot of places. I've been a lot of places, and I've been fortunate enough to travel the world and have fun doing what I've always wanted to do since I was a kid. And WWE would be cool. You never know. Maybe it'll get there someday, and great if it does. But if it doesn't, as long as I'm happy and as long as I'm able to support myself and maybe save up enough money to where I don't have to have a real job when I'm all done and old and everything, that'd be great. But WWE would be cool, I guess, but it's not like I don't sit up at night like being like, I need to get to WWE, I need to get to WWE, you know. But if it happened, great. If it doesn't, that's okay too.
Ok. Aurais-tu un dernier mot à dire pour le public qui nous regarde et peut-être en français?
Oh, in French. Oh, man. I'll tell you what I have in French. I have merci. I have s'il vous plaît. I got, how do I say you're welcome again? It's like, Dorian. I got that. I got, I guess.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you is bonjour.
Bonjour pour dire good morning.
Ouais.
Bonjour, right?
Enchanté.
Enchanté. I got that one too. Yeah. There's my French for you. That's pretty much what I got.
I know that.
Et voilà.
Yes, in America you say et voilà, no?
Et voilà. Like, oh, voila. Yeah, you can say voila. Yeah. Is it? I didn't know that was French.
Yes.
You know, it's funny, like, in Germany, they didn't know that, like, they say Gesundheit. Like, when you sneeze, like, achoo. When you sneeze, in German, they say Gesundheit. Well, in America, they also will say Gesundheit. Like, just sometimes. But it's like one of those things, I don't think Americans understand that it's like German. They just think it's something to say. But when I explained that to people in Germany, I was like, oh, you know, Americans say that. They were like, really? Whoa. So yeah, enchanté.
Yeah.
That's definitely one.
I also know left and right.
Oh, yeah, left and right. It's, like, droite?
Yeah.
and gauche.
Yes.
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, I got that because I'm teaching footwork stuff. Yeah, but okay, so as far as anything else I want to leave for last words, follow me on social media. My Twitter, my Instagram, my Snapchat is at theproductds. You can also check out my website, theproductds.com. My Facebook is just search David Starr. Search for The Product David Starr as well. That's my fan page. You can check out my merchandise stores, which are attached to my website, theproductds.com. You can check them out, though. bottomlinemerch.com/David Starr, prowrestlingtees.com/David Starr. Make sure you pick something up. It was just my birthday the other day, you know, and I got a cat to feed. So you should buy my stuff so I can feed my cat. But yeah, no, other than that, man, everything's been great. I really appreciate you guys having me and having me on the interview. It's awesome to be able to connect with some new fans and some maybe hopefully it's the beginning of more stuff, you know.
Merci David, l'interview touche à sa fin. Merci d'être là. Merci pour ta sympathie. Merci pour ton professionnalisme. N'hésitez pas donc à aller voir, n'hésite pas camarade à aller voir sur le site de David Starr, il y a plein de jolis t-shirts que tu peux te procurer qui te donnent le swag. N'hésite pas à suivre également, yes. Thank you. N'hésite pas à suivre également David Starr sur sa page Facebook, il vient de te la citer. D'ici là, c'est pareil, n'hésite pas à liker cette vidéo si cette interview t'a plu. Pardon, on enregistre, il est assez tard. Partage cette vidéo, etc., etc. Prends soin de toi, je te kiffe.
Au revoir.